Well, hello there. Good morning. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you this is probably it will be one of my longest videos done so far. So, sorry for the cigarette. So, kinda be prepared to have a quite long video. Um, Second point, um, you probably, if you do not read Bleach manga, you will probably get some spoilers along the way. And finally, this will be my video response to a video that Shinigami X or Captain X did about a discussion about if Ichigo is stronger or not than the captains of the gotei 13. So, I watched the video and I kinda agree with some points, but I don't agree with all the points of Shinigami X. And also, I will not be talking, for instance, about Yamamoto because I will speak on the current moment the story is at this moment. I will make references to the past, yes, but I will not bring characters that are already dead into a direct discussion. So, currently, first of all, the currently organization of the Gotei 13 is as follows. First, squad captain and head commander of Gotei 13, Kurako. Second captain of second squad, Soifon. The third captain of squad 3 is Rose, and I will use the short name. I will not use Rosuru because it's Otarabashi because it's very long and it's easier to call Rosuru Rose. The four captain, and this is also one point in my videos. I'm not convinced that Unowana died, so I will speak about Unowana as she was alive, and like I have said already in several videos about Bleach, unless Kyoraku, other captain, even Zaraki or her lieutenant Izane tells her or tell us, or we see some comments on Soul Society saying that it's a shame that the captain of Squad 4 is dead or something like that, I will not believe that Unowana died in the training of Zaraki. Then we have the captain of Squad 5, that is Shinji. The captain of Squad 6 is Byakuya. The captain of Squad 7 is Komamura. The current captain office of Squad 8 is Vekin because it was the former seat of Kiraku. And my betting, and I guess after this flashback ends in the manga, probably we will see that Love was reinstated as captain of Squad 8. That's my betting. The captain of Squad 9 is Kensei. The captain of Squad 10 is Toshiro. The captain of Squad 11 is Araki. The captain of Squad 12 is Mayuri. And the captain of the 13 squad is Kitake. And this is currently the position of captain inside the Gotei 13. We have several characters that have already died, like Gin, that was the captain of Squad 3. Tozen was the captain of Squad 9. Uh, Eisen, that is in prison, was the captain of Squad 5. Yamamoto, that is dead, was the former commander of Squad 1 and head commander of the gotei 13. And we also have other characters. Yoruishi was the former commander of Squad 2. Ishin was the former captain of Squad 10. Urahara was the former captain of Squad 12. And Tesai was the former commander of the Kido Corps. So, roughly, these are the current and the ones that in the past were captains. So, my personal opinion on this is that Ichigo is stronger than some captains. Um, in my opinion, he is certainly more stronger than Mayuri. Yes, Mayuri possesses a huge Bankai. Yes, he is a very intelligent guy, and yes, he has that green stuff that kinda permits him to regenerate his own body. However, from the start of the manga until this point, I don't think that I'm wrong, but I actually only remember seeing him fighting once, and it was against Ishida. Uh, and he was quite beat up by Ishida. Since in my opinion, Ishida is clearly or possess clearly less power than Ichigo, and if Ishida did beat down Mayuri and even destroyed his Bankai, even if he was using the Senrei glove and was at the eye of the Quincy Powers abilities, uh, Mayuri is weak. He might be an intelligent guy. He might have a kind of big Bankai and so, but he is slow, very slow. He can do Shinigami techniques, obviously, but he is slow and he is not very proficient on the use of his own sword. Because even Mayuri recognizes that he prefers to work behind the curtain and with his own intelligence than go straight to the battle. And even because he knows that his battle abilities are inferior to most of the other captains of the Gotei 13, and as it was shown in his fight with Ishida, he is clearly inferior in terms of fighting abilities. So, Ichigo is stronger than Mayuri. Then, in my opinion, he is also stronger than Soifon. Yes, Soifon possesses also a huge Bankai, like intercontinental ballistic missile. Yes, she is quick. She possesses the techniques of an assassin and something like that. However, I venture to say that Ishigo, in his um, Bankai form and probably aided by his own hollow powers, and now most likely with some crazy abilities he will also develop. Uh, Ishigo for me is clearly most quick than Soifon. And the great strength of Soifon is she attacks from the shadows using their speed. And I think that Ichigo those surpasses Soifon's speed. So, and even in terms of power, she possesses Suzumebashi, yes, a two-hit kill. However, uh, this only works on adversaries or enemies that she is able to catch on. And I honestly don't think that Soifon can match the speed of Ichigo at his full power. So, even if Suzumebashi is an interesting power, if by chance Soifon was hit by the black Getsuga Tensho, she will be done for. So, in my opinion, Ichigo is also more stronger either in Shikai or in Bankai mode than Soifon. Then, uh, about Rose, well, I honestly don't think that Rose is a lot of powerful, even if he possess his Hollow Mask and the little we see about Rose fighting, having that in mind and having Ishigo fights, uh, I honestly think that Ishigo is a superior fighting comparing to Rose. And besides, we never saw Rose Bankai. However, his Shikai is also a Shikai that works on the base of speed because Kintara or Kintara, I think that's the name Kintara. It's kinda a Zanpakuto that turns into a kinda huge whip or something like similar to a whip, and that plays mainly with speed. And I think that Ishigo is faster than Rose. So and the battles that we see Rose do, he does not. It apparently for me, it does not appear to me an excellent fighter. He is an average fighter, but honestly, even with his hollow mask, I don't see it because if he uses a hollow mask, Ishigo also has a hollow mask, and when Ishigo uses his hollow mask or uses his hollow powers, um, he clearly about Rose he will surpass it at his speed. So I think that Ishigo is also more powerful than Rose. Then we go to Unohana. And we know that Unohana is the first Kenpachi, yes. But we only see her fighting against Zaraki. And my own opinion about it is that she fights Zaraki, trying to awaken him and awaken his own powers. She is a great swordsman, without a doubt. I don't have any doubt about it. However, the little we saw about her own Bankai, it was very strange. So I cannot qualify it properly. But if we are talking only that the biggest strength of Unohana will be his own Kido abilities to heal herself and continue fighting using her swordsman skills, I think that at this point in the story, most likely the swordsman skills of Ishigo are in pair of a master level, or if they are not in a level a master level, they are very close. So I venture to say that Ichigo could also probably be more powerful than Unowana. Uh, he is more, he possesses more speed than her. He probably could fall back in terms of combat experience. However, um, his own resilience and his own swordsman skills, I'm guessing they are in pair with Unowana, but I don't think that Unowana did go all out against Zaraki. So all this that I say it's true, but put a small parenthesis on it because she could have other powers, other skills, other abilities that we never saw. And for her to be the first Kenpachi, this kinda could implies that their powers are well more intense. Then we go to Shinji, and in the case of Shinji, I don't know. Because Shinji, we actually learn that he is a fighter, a good fighter. He is very good when he's donning his hollow mask, and but we only see a small part of his Shikai powers. That is, it kinda goes for the senses of a person, and it kinda inverts it. So we don't know much more about Shinji, so I will not risk to say that Ishigo is more powerful than Shinji because we simply don't know uh, much about Shinji powers and especially if his Shikai has other abilities besides the one that he shows fighting Aizen, and we never know about his Bankai or about what his Bankai is. So I will not say that Ishigo is stronger than Shinji because we practically don't know much about it. Then we go to Byakuya, and in terms of Byakuya, uh, I think that Ishigo and Byakuya are quite close in terms of power. Yes, Byakuya possess other skills, he possess interesting Bankai, but again, it's a Bankai that works on the base of speed. And like I already say for other situations, I don't think that Byakuya Bankai speed can match up with Ishigo because we already saw it, and Ishigo was only on the first levels of his Bankai powers. He defeated Senbon Sakura Kagayoshi easily, and he fight on pair with Byakuya, and they Byakuya did lose because Ishigo destroyed Senbon Sakura. So, um, but I will say that most likely Byakuya and Ishigo powers are hand to hand. Obviously, we don't know if after Byakuya stay on the royal palace, we don't know if Byakuya will have a power upgrade. Most likely, he will have hit. However, he also can or could not have one, and he was only on the royal palace mainly for healing. We don't know, but at this point, I will say that most likely Byakuya and Ishigo are very balanced in terms of power. About Komamura, the strength of Komamura is strength himself. is destruction power. But Komamura is slow, very slow. And if his Bankai get damaged, the body of Komamura also suffers damage. By this point, I will say that again Ichigo's speed will surpass easily Komamura, and if he, I guess Ichigo at this point will be able to defeat Komamura Bankai. So I will also say that Ichigo is stronger than Komamura. Then we have Kensei. Kensei is a fighting type. Yes, he is powerful. Yeah, yes, he is quick. However, there is the same situation in the different case than Komamura. Uh, Komamura is slow. Kensei is not slow. However, I also think that Kensei cannot beat Ichigo in terms of power. Eventually, Kensei could beat Ichigo at close quarters because Kensei is the type of fighter that fights very well at close quarters. And I don't think that Ichigo is that skilled in close combat or body to body combat. So, by that, Kensei will have some advantage over Ichigo. However, if Ichigo in some way could surpass this handicap with his own speed and his own power, Kensei will be able to end a blow on Ichigo on close quarters. And if Kensei is unable to do a blow on Ichigo on close quarters, he will be defeated by Ichigo. If Ichigo and Kensei fight on close quarters, I believe that Kensei will win. So this is also in some way they are, let's say, slightly balanced between them. Against Toshiro, I don't think that Toshiro is one of the most powerful fighters of Soul Society. He possesses interesting powers, yes. He can control the elements, in this case air and water, yes. However, I think that Toshiro is inferior to Ichigo because even if Toshiro uses Yo in Maru in his Bankai form, the ice could be easily broken by the Getsuga Tensho technique. And I don't think that Toshiro possesses the speed to catch up Ichigo with his full powers, obviously. So, even if Toshiro powers are interesting, and there was several times hinted along the series that his powers are still growing and are still developing, at this point, I don't think that Toshiro is stronger than Ichigo. Thus, Ichigo is stronger than Toshiro, and in a fight one-on-one, I'm guessing that Ichigo will win over Toshiro. Then we have Zaraki, and that's the thing. The first fight they have, Ichigo don't know nothing about Bankai, but he was already awakening the earlier stages for achieving a Bankai. And like we learn, Zaraki, besides the eye patch that sealed Reiatsu off, he had himself shackled himself mentally and shackled himself down and his own power. And he did not use or he did not communicate with his own Zampak tool. So, because Zaraki is a fighter that trusts mainly in his fighting abilities, his swordsman abilities, and so on. However, at this point on the story, uh, I will say that Zaraki probably is superior to Ichigo at this point because he ended uh, the shackling of his own power and he was able to hear his Zanpakuto out and he was able to communicate with it. So, or with her, it. So, probably Zaraki power only now will begin achieving maturity. However, we also don't know to which extent Ichigo will go in terms of power because if he is able to merge, and that is my opinion on it, he will need to merge all his powers, his Shinigami powers, his Hollow powers, his Quincy powers. He needs to merge all that together to fully unlock his full abilities. And besides that, he needs to learn his element ability or which element he is related to, and to that he will develop other techniques like his father Ishin already showed us recently. He can turn his Ingetsu into a fire type Zanpakuto. He can use fire based attacks. So, and that is a skill that a Shinigami possess, an elemental skill that other members of the Shiva family also possess, like Kukaku that also possess a fire affinity, like Kayan did with water, and like Ganjo has with earth. So, uh, when Ichigo did learn his own elemental power, he will unlock other techniques or strengthen his own technique like Getsuga Tenshu or eventually other techniques, and that's the important part about Ishigo. He needs his Quincy heritage because Quincy's fight with the Reishi particles on the air. If his Shinigami base elemental ability is air or is connected with air, and if he is able to master or discover his Quincy side that in some other way are also related with air, and we also have a hint about the air affinity with Ishigo when he is training Fullbringer abilities, because I think that it's Gingo that explains to Ishigo that a Fullbringer fights using the energy that is on all the stuff, uh, the floor, the roofs, the air, and so on. They drag the soul of that object and turn that into power. And this is also a ability that is in some way akin to air elemental abilities because he uses the space around him to bend him to his own will and to develop his own techniques. And uh, and finally, about Ukitake. I also don't know if Ishigo is stronger than Ukitake or than Kiraku because we don't know nothing about their powers. Ukitake, almost nothing. Kyoraku, we did see something of him on this battle with start. However, it was too little to me for judge it. But at this point, I don't believe that Ichigo can beat Kyorako or Ukitake in a end-to-end or one-to-one fight. So, in overall of it, Ichigo, in my opinion, is more powerful than a great amount of captains. However, Zaraki, at this point in history, let me rephrase it again, at this point on history, I don't think that because we don't have any or we don't have much information about it, I don't think for now that he cannot beat Kyoraku, he cannot beat Ukitake, and he most likely at this point cannot beat Zaraki. Then he could probably go end to end or end in a tie with Byakuya and with Kensei, depending how the battle progressed. And in Shinji, we also don't know much about it, and I cannot make an opinion on it. However, it's my firm conviction that at this point Ishigo is clearly more powerful than Soifon, is clearly more powerful than Rose, is clearly more powerful than Komamura, and is clearly more powerful than Toshiro. Uh, and if we want to add other characters, he, from what we have seen, is more powerful than Love. Uh, and in this we have also three characters that I cannot judge their level powers. We see that Ishin is powerful and is quite powerful, but will Ishigo, after learning his heritage and his merging of all his powers, I guess he will achieve a superior level of power regarding his own father. Uh, if he is also against Yoruichi, if is, and this is a situation like it was in Kensei, if it's a hand-to-hand combat, definitely I think Ishigo will lose against Yoruichi, because Yoruichi is mainly a hand-to-hand fighter. Uh, and then we have Urahara, and we have see little about his own powers. However, I since quite a long while, even before I start putting videos on YouTube, I always defended the idea that Urahara power was mostly the on the top 5 inside Soul Society. But we don't know much about Urara. But from what we have seen until this point, Urahara possesses quite interesting powers. Uh, but I will not elaborate on it. Now, for future, I think that Ishigo possesses the potential to eventually surpass almost all captains of Gotei Cersei, simply because he is not a Shinigami. Simply, he is not simply a Shinigami. He can go take abilities to other forces. He can go and uses his hollow powers merge with his Shinigami powers, and by that simple fact, he will be at an advantage over most captains that are not captain level wizards, but now with his Quincy abilities. When he understands his Quincy abilities, if he is able to merge his Quincy powers inside all this construction of power, he will become, let's say, a perfect being, because he will be a little of all the races that exist on Bleach universe. So I will be criticized by this next thing that I will say, but the goal of Aizen was to become a transcendent being using the Ogyoku. If Ichigo learns and masters all the three aspects of power that exist on Bleach universe, he will become a real transcendent being, because he will be able to have the three powers and their abilities merged in one. So, and like I have already said, for a reforged Zangetsu to appear again, Ichigo needs to merge all these three powers together and needs to harmonize his inner world, his spiritual pressure, and so on to reforge Zangetsu. And I also say, the next time we see Zangetsu, we will not recognize Zangetsu, and probably it will not be Zangetsu. It will be completely something that is different. Because I don't believe that the next time that Ichigo possesses a weapon, it will be a Zanpakuto. I don't believe on that. It could have the frame of a Zanpakuto in some way, yes. However, it will not be one, because it will be a mixture of Shinigami Holy One Quincy abilities. So, this is my opinion about the video of Shinigami X, and also some personal opinions about Ichigo powers levels comparing to the current power situation inside Soul Society and the current gotei sourcing. So, hope you enjoy my video. Stay well. Peace.